Alright, happy Monday. Welcome to another character intro video. I've been doing this kind of on Mondays, kind of syncing up to the episodes of the new Kinnikuman anime, and it's finally time to talk about the mountain. This is a long time coming. This is kind of like the last part of the arc, spoilers. And if you know anything about this game, you probably know already a bit about the mountain. But if you don't, get ready for a lot of fun. But if you are, like hold your horses, we'll definitely get to what you probably already know, right? So this might be a pretty short video. We'll see how it goes. So, Mountain, how is he in this game? I guess for starters, there isn't a whole lot of material to basically use for the Mountain, right? If you notice, kind of his fighting style in like the manga, the anime is kind of just sitting on you, kind of just like lying down on you, right? Which is not really like fighting style. Like that doesn't really make unlike a fighting game character. His super, of course, like is a reference to that. Which, as you can see here, he literally just falls on you, as Mountain does. But you never use the super, which you will see soon why. So when I guess Aki made this game, they had to do a lot of legwork to basically design his moveset from the ground up, and kind of plays how you think he will play it. Right? He's this kind of big, lumbering character. If you can see, the screen even shakes a little bit when he just walks around, and this kind of reflects in his gameplay plan, right? Like he's like a big body. He has really like not the highest on the game, but pretty high health. He has pretty poor frame data. Like his jab is like 13 frames. His launcher like 30 frames, I think, or like 25 frames. Like it's very slow. He has like kind of awful drop kicks. He has one of the worst wall running A's in the game. It's just like there's a lot of buttons that are very slow and very stubby for how slow they are. Right? You can tell how rough it is because like he has a button, for example, like this. This is a medium stun, and it can combo into a throw. But his throw range is so stubby that from max range, this doesn't even combo into a throw, like causes like the throw to whiff, right? That's kind of how rough Mountain is. He just has like a lot of these buttons that are just really slow, really stubby, and that kind of just makes it kind of also really mediocre. And I think like that's why I've seen this before. People making tier lists for this game that where they have like no idea how the game really plays, which again is my own opinions about tier lists and why I feel like a lot of people shouldn't be making tier lists, but that's like its own thing. But I've seen tier lists from people like who don't play this game, which just puts Mountain at like a low tier because they just look at him and they just go like, oh, what is this guy? He's just like this like big, slow, big body. There's like 5 other big bodies who are better in this game. He just has like these slow, stubby buttons. He's obviously awful, right? And I want to live in that world. I wish I live in that world where Mountain is just a mediocre big body with like awful buttons that kind of do good damage. Because there's one special move that changes the map on everything Mountain does, and that is 66S. This is a fireball. It travels not exactly full screen, but like pretty far, basically. And you can see like it can hit multiple times. If I do it from like close by, you can see like it hits multiple times for a knockdown, right? It does like 60 damage, like that's kind of whatever. But the true strength of this fireball is as an OTG. After like a lot of knockdowns, Mountain can OTG with this guaranteed. And as an OTG, you can get all 5 hits. Like that's like 150 damage for a 2-bar special OTG, which is like quite a lot of damage. And to make this way better, since like this is a fireball, Mountain can like recover before the opponent covers. And this actually lets him combo this fireball into itself as an OTG, like so. That was 600 damage. That was 600 damage from just the OTG. 4 reps, right, which cost 8 bars, granted, and that's like the most you can get. And that's an insane amount of damage for an OTG. Because like even like this, the throw does, 180, and then if I OTG them with this like that, that's another 600, like that's 780 damage. Like that's already like 75% of a lot of characters' lives. So that's like a lot of insane damage. Like that means like all of like random throws, right? Mama can just like randomly kill you with that. And even better, he actually can get a bit more off of this because after this OTG, can actually like link into his 62-1-4A for like a bit more OTG damage. Like just like that, right? So that's actually like the 690 OTG damage on top of whatever you use to knock them down. The thing about Mountain is that despite like the stubby buttons and all that stuff, he actually has a lot of ways to combo into his throw for a knockdown, right? So beyond like just like this regular throw, he has his AA, which isn't like a natural combo, but like the second hit is a medium stun, and that causes it so that if this hits, this combos into throw, which, you know, leads into the OTG, right? And his 4A also combos into a medium stun throw. Again, if you actually like reaches, like this combos into that, and like this will guarantee the OTGs. His A6A is also guarantees the OTG. I'm getting the throw into the OTG, right? And to make matters worse, A6A is a natural string. This is a natural string. And this is kind of maybe what pushes it over the edge, is that this A is Mountain's jab. It's kind of slow at 13 frames, but that's still fast enough to punish a throw. Now, you put all of this together, right? This means that if, you know, the opponent is attempting to throw Mountain, right? I'm gonna set the dummy here to like throw and parry. You can see there, right? Like they'll parry my strikes. If I take their throw, I can actually, if I can get it, punish with his jab string, like that, and like this all combos, right? So, you know, say you try to throw Mountain, he takes it, he gets like the punish, which I'm not getting, but I try it again, like this, into the knockdown, into 1, 2, 3, 4 sweep. That's 690 plus 240, I think, for like this initial string. Yeah, that's like 240 plus 690, so that's like 930 damage. If I did my math right, like that's like 930 damage off of like punishing a throw. If, you know, Mountain has like the resource for it, which basically means like, you know, that makes like the risk reward really messed up for Mountain, because, you know, if he takes your throw, he just blow you up with like this combo where you eat like 90% of your life for that, right? This doesn't one-shot anyone except exactly Big Body. But, you know, that's still a lot of damage, and that basically makes a fighting Mountain extremely, extremely scary. And that's kind of like the thing with Mountain, like just the fact that the threat of just randomly killing you using a knockdown into 66S basically makes every risk reward against Mountain really fucked up. Because, you know, he can just do something like jab throw, you know, or jab jab, right? And then if you guess wrong at any point of that, you eat 80%. And yeah, and that's very scary. You basically have to play very good defense against Mountain. That makes Mountain like a very easy character to pick up and kind of start winning with, right? Mountain is considered top tier, like it's like that's not obvious yet. He's very different from the other top tiers where, you know, they have really good frame data, really strong tools. Mountain is honestly all around a very weak character. He actually has overall very bad frame data, right? Like poor hitboxes, but he specifically just has, you know, probably the best OTG in the whole game, and tools that happen to, you know, facilitate that OTG, that he just ends up having this randomly out of nowhere extreme damage output. So unlike a lot of other top tiers, he's actually like pretty easy to pick up. He's not very technical, right? And the way he plays is quite unlike anyone else in MGP2, because, you know, he's not playing, you know, clean, honest, neutral. He's just like, oh, let me just build up meter, and then let me just get a random hit. Oh, now you're dead, right? That's kind of what Mountain does, which is kind of corny, kind of really corny, right? But that's kind of the character. He's definitely this game's kind of silly Jim. This game's kind of very weird out there character who probably ruins the game for existing. Very popular character for a lot of new players because they just go, oh, I can just pick the guy and win. And trying to beat a Mountain as someone who's not a Mountain, even like, someone who's just picking up the game for the first time, can be very difficult unless like you're very used to the Mountain. Mountain kind of acts as like this kind of great filter where, like, if you want to get good at MGP2, you have to learn to beat at least bad Mountains so that you don't just get like filtered by random people just picking up Mountain for fun. And that's kind of Mountain's role in this game. He is, funnily enough, just randomly one of the best characters in this game, but in a very unique to him way, you know, in a way that is not how characters are traditionally good in this game, basically. And what's maybe like the frustrating thing about Mountain is that this literally is all he has. And it's so strong that even if he has other kind of like sauce, you never go for them because they're just invalidated by the fact that he can just do his success. Mountain actually has a pretty good juggles because he has like a special move that's like a really good SKD. So off of like a launch, you can actually do something like this. And that's actually like a pretty solid juggle. And like off of that, like an OTG with, for example, C6S, right? But why would you do that if you can just... Like, why would you do that if you can just, you know, throw them into... Okay, I'm just gonna like 6 you now, right? Likewise, he has like a special throw. Not that. Or like that's a funny like special move he has, but you know, you never see that because, again, why do that when you can just like do this? You know, he has like a special throw that's not bad, but again, why, like that's 3 meters spent, 3 meters that could have gone to just doing that instead, right? And that's also why you never see Mountain Super, because if you use your super, you're basically you basically don't have that meter to use for 66S. On a more meta sense, this game kind of like rewards Mountain for losing, if that makes sense, because you build a lot of meter for getting hit. You build more meter when you get hit than when you are hitting someone. So this is kind of like an inherent combat mechanic where Mountain can like just get beat up for the whole round, but then this invariably gives him 8-9 bars, which means if he just, even though he's like has a huge deficit, if he just gets like that one jab string or like one throw, he just randomly does 80% on you, right? And you hitting him gives him the meter to be able to do that. For similar reasons, this is kind of why Mountain's always picked in Red KKD. Because Red KKD just makes your meter gain to like an insane degree, right? Let me just set Mountain to low health here so you can see it for yourself, right? Where building meter when Red KKD is active becomes so fast that Red KKD just it's almost always the one that they use for Mountain because it just lets him do this a lot more often, right? You're like, okay, I'm not able to kill them all of one thing, but now, and I'm low on meter, I can quickly build more meter from just getting hit or from just building it manually, and I just like randomly throw them, and they eat all this damage, right? And Mountain defenders will say that this isn't like a free combo, like this isn't the easiest thing in the world, and for what it's worth, it's they're right, like this isn't the easiest combo in the world, but it's pretty damn easy, something that you can get pretty consistent with like a little bit of practice. So Mountain definitely is still a very relatively easy character, especially for like how much reward you get. This is definitely, if you only look at it in terms of I want to win, probably the character that like gets you the furthest to that with like the least amount of effort, right? So I don't want to call him like rewarding because that guy feels really wrong to say Mountain is like a rewarding character. Because there are characters like I'll say like Kinnikuman, Man, where playing them is like rewarding because you learn, get better, and it feels really good. Mountain is rewarding in that you put 15 minutes into the game, and you probably can beat most other people who just picked up the game with you, right? And that's kind of the frustrating thing about Mountain. He's a very contentious character, I guess, because he might be way too good at a low level, and even like at a high level, he's still probably too good for the effort you have to spend on him, basically. And yeah, that's the Mountain. Maybe I ranted a bit more about this character than I had to, but honestly, that's kind of just there just isn't like that much to like talk about him. So I feel like I had to like kind of talk more about the context about why this is so good. I hope I was able to convey that, right? My main goal here to just kind of convey how fucked up this OTG is. And if you had that takeaway, mission accomplished, right? So yeah, that's Mountain. Should you play Mountain? Do you like winning? Do you not want to put effort? Pick Mountain, right? Pick a top tier. That's a good advice always, right? And if you decide that Super Phoenix or Aqua Sugar is too difficult, Mountain is right there. He might get a bit boring after a while, especially like if you are kind of player like who does get bored by things. But he's definitely I don't know. I guess he can't say you can't go wrong with playing Mountain, right? He's definitely very easy, and you will definitely win with him. And I guess ultimately, if that's what you want out of fighting games, Mountain is there, right? And on the other hand, though, everyone playing this game should probably learn how to fight against Mountain. That's kind of like an essential skill playing this game, just because of how ubiquitous he is, how important it is to be able to learn against the Mountain. So even if you're not interested in like learning the Mountain, maybe this intro can kind of share some basics about how the character works that that maybe helps you understand more about where you can, take your turns, where you can maybe take advantage of his shortcomings, because he does have massive, massive weaknesses, right? Like just like the stubby buttons, like the very slow buttons, they are really significant weaknesses. I'll leave you off with like this rope super that he has, which is kind of just his Michin super, except he just jumps higher. Um, and yeah, that's kind of Mountain for you. I think this should be like the last of like the series of this series for the time being, because like this should be the last kind of like spotlighted character for this core. But whenever like the next core airs, we will be taking a look at, as you will probably find out like next week, the Justice Shojins and then Buffalo Man, Spring Man. Those characters like don't haven't had a spotlight yet, but they will soon have like the time in the sun whenever like the next core of the anime airs, right? In between though, I might also try to like do some kind of character intros for characters who are not in like the new anime. Think the Nisei characters, maybe Wolfman, Geronimo. I might take the chance to like maybe like do intro videos for like those characters. So look forward to that as well, I guess. But for now, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed like the series of character intros. Hope these were all good for you. And if you liked it, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. You know, now that I guess like there's more of a open schedule, let me know what character that you want to see like an intro for next, and maybe I can go for that if they're not scheduled for like later in the anime, I guess. So yeah, this has been Fish Traps, and I will see you next time.